Hey, this is Erica Chakowski with DevOps.com, and I am here at DevOps Enterprise Summit. I'm talking to the folks at ING today. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then we'll talk a little bit about their DevOps journey. Go ahead.
I'm Evelijn from Leeuwen, and I'm working as a manager in infrastructure at ING.
Okay. Kris?
And I'm Kris Buytaert. I'm an external consultant at ING. I work for Inuit.
Very good. So, Evelyn and Kris, you guys stepped up to the podium to talk a little bit about your successes and challenges. And I'm wondering, from each of you, maybe if you could talk about the number one takeaway, the number one thing that you've learned that you would like to share with others who are about to go on this journey.
I think what I learned is that that it's a really hard journey. You have to I think it was harder than we thought.
Okay.
So, and people individually has to change in that whole process, and I think I like that change, and I think a lot of people like that change, but it's harder than we thought, and you have to stay into it. So, no cold feet if it's getting a little bit hard, because it is hard.
Right.
And it's giving a lot of new energy and new passion and new learning. So that's what I think.
Anything worth doing is not easy.
No.
That's true.
No.
Kris, what would you say is the one thing that you'd like to tell people?
So my biggest takeaway from the ING journey is that we really should have embedded the IT operations people much earlier in the process. It took me, like I told in the talk, about better part of 2 years before I actually ran into the actual first ops engineer who could really talk with me about how they would be able to do infrastructure as code, how they would be using configuration management, and actually talk on those kind of topics. So that was really something that when I would do this again, I'm actually doing this again with different customers, I really embed the operations folks much earlier in the project.
Very good. So that's definitely a good lesson to learn. Evelyn, you said it's harder than you thought it would be.
Yeah.
If you could have yourself now go talk to the self from the past, what would you tell yourself?
I would tell that people personally have to change because they're used to some kind of working and some way of working, and they're really proud of the way they work and all the knowledge they have. And I think I really understand that they don't have to get rid of it, but you have to learn new things to add on to it. And I think I didn't know that in the beginning, that it was happening like this. So you have to get rid of some things you really thought they were true, but they aren't.
Okay. Kris, if you now could go back in a time machine and talk to you then, what would you tell yourself?
I probably would tell myself to even shout harder and probably even try to get more people involved in the initial process. I mean, I spend a lot of time talking to people, explaining stuff, how we worked, how I showed them how to build stuff, and probably should have done that with even more people, because the small number of people that actually saw what we did and saw how we did it, they started to spread it, and I think the more people we could have engaged in that process would have been better.
So metrics is always a big theme at these types of conferences. I'm wondering what you guys think the most impressive metric is from your organization in terms of kind of illustrating the change that you've been able to make.
I think improvement on lead time, but in the beginning we just calculated function points also, and then we saw an incredible improvement on that one. So we're delivering more value to the customer and at a higher speed. I think mean time to resolve is also an important one, but that's the one we have to improve on a lot more than we do now. So
always evolving.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Kris, do you have any others that you think that you can think of?
The story I told in the talk about metrics is that when we start sharing dashboards and when we start using metrics and then the actual application metrics we're talking about now, people actually also need to understand what they are about. Just putting a screen there is not going to solve the problem.
That's definitely a good point. A number only means something if you can contextualize it. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much for your perspective, and hopefully we'll see you again next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.